Good morning, guys. Welcome to Alan's Allotment. Today it's Monday the 6th of July 2020. First of all, I hope everybody's staying safe, being practical and keeping themselves out of harm's way. Right, welcome to Alan's Allotment again. Another day. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a little check on those young birds that we put in the lofts yesterday. See if they've been managing to eat and drink, and I'll literally inspect each and every one of them and check that they've got food in the crop and or water. I meant to say yesterday as well, if you're doing this and you're new to pigeons, you should do this on a daily basis at least for 4 to 5 days to make sure that everything's getting something to eat and everything's getting something to drink. And if it transpires that they're not, don't worry about the feed side. They will instinctively start feeding. They might even go 24 hours without eating a thing. But make sure you dip the beak in the water. So at least if they don't get any food, they will get a drink and they won't dehydrate and set them back. Right, if you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing and then hit the little bell icon on the right hand side. On this channel we cater for quite a number of different things. So we have the growing area in the garden, I have the polytunnel, I have ray-coloured racing pigeons and fantails. I also do projects, DIY projects, and some of you guys might find that beneficial. You can look back over the videos and see if there's anything that you may be interested in. And where I can help anybody out, you my subscribers, then everybody benefits. And this keeps me going as well. Right guys, I've just in the shed, I've just arrived. The birds have all been fed and watered. Kenny done those earlier this morning. I wrote out the new different feed regime for all the lofts since I've had a swap around. And hopefully he's done that this morning. He didn't ring me to say there was any problems or issues or anything he didn't understand, so we assume they're all's well. So I'm going to have this cup of coffee, guys. Then I'm going to get myself in the loft, where to put the young birds at. Yesterday that you see me doing, putting them into the loft and dipping the beaks in the water. And we're going to go and have a check and make sure that they're all okay and that the cockbird hasn't been doing any damage in there. So we'll have this coffee and then we'll bring you along. See you later, guys. Okay guys, as you can see we're doing a little check on the young birds. And that's the cockbird earlier that we were talking about yesterday. He hasn't harmed any of these youngsters. I didn't think he would, and I'm pleased to say he hasn't. I have seen one or two of the youngsters standing over the food, and the little Trigonino obviously is still feeding herself, as is the double factor indigo and the yellow pied, and the youngsters are going to the trough. Now I've checked every one of these youngsters, and every one except the little recessive red have had no water or food. So I've been round, I've caught all of the youngsters one by one, and we've dipped the head in the water again. One of the smallest ones, the little recessive red, had a little bit of food in its crop, and the only way it can have done that is by eating itself, and it had water. So it's already learned to feed itself and drink. And as you can see, one of the little youngsters has decided
that likes that nest pan, and it's wet and sat itself in the nest pan. Obviously makes it feel safe. The cockbird won't bother them, and there is another nest pan just to the right in case this did happen. Of course, I'll put a secondary nest pan in there just in case that did happen. But as you can see, they're a lot more confident now. They're waddling about, they've been through there, they've been in here, and they're basically just chilling out, guys. All's well in here, I'm pleased to say. And as you can see, there's corn in the trough constantly. If they do eat any of that, we'll just fill it up again, and then eventually we'll reach a stage, once I know they're all eating and drinking, we'll stop filling it up and we'll put them on an ounce a day each. Right guys, what I'm about to tell you is very real and very true, and has never ever happened in 40 years of me keeping racing pigeons. You remember on a video or two back, we said we had a mystery youngster in this top nest here. And I said, either the dark check hen is carrying recessive red and her father's a recessive red, or the little almond, or this almond down here, had been cheating with that hen. And I also told you about a story where I found 3 eggs on that nest, and I thought something's going in this nest and laying, or that dark check hen is something special. And you remember we left her with 2 eggs, and I put the other 3rd egg under this frill stencil cock. Sorry about the camera guys, I'm trying to do this through the actual mesh without disturbing the birds. Some of them are down on the second rounds of eggs, and some have got youngsters are just about to hatch. Right, back to the story. So we took one off and we put it under this frill stencil cock. And I've just been in there and checked, and that egg is developing and will hatch. Strangely, the other 2 that was left on the top on this one weren't, or didn't appear to be really developing, but I'm not 100% certain. So I've left them. But more importantly, I found another 2 eggs in there today. That's a total of 4 eggs. That hen was sitting on 4 eggs. And that's happened in the last 2 days. And I don't know where these eggs, all these eggs are coming from. Now I'm hoping and praying against all odds that that white bar frill stencil hen that I said can't lay eggs, that's paired to this cock here, has been in there and laid eggs. However, I don't think that is the case. I also suggested that this little Project Almond down here, that his hen, the yellow hen, might be going up into that top nest box and laying. The fact that we've got a recessive red is a possibility. However, she did lay a 2nd egg and is sitting 2 eggs again. Now I've checked those and they're clear yet again. And I'm a bit miffed at this, because I do know that that almond is fertile. I had youngsters of him last year with another tumbler. So it's quite possible the hen is a bit too big for him and he can't quite reach round, and that's the reason why we're getting clear eggs of him. But I'm so intrigued by why or who is laying all these extra eggs in this nest. And I hoping that they all hatch so we can get to the bottom of the mystery. Now it's also entirely possible that the reduced hen, who is sitting 2 youngsters, was ready to lay again, wouldn't go on the nest and lay there, and rather than lay in the grill, she went up there and laid them. But why do they keep picking this top nest? I don't know. On closer inspection of that hen, she does look like she is going to lay again, and she's normally you see a bit of a rounding of the rump and the tail goes down when they're ready for laying. So it does look like she's actually going to lay. But it stays like that even a day or so after they've laid. So I'm not sure yet. It is also entirely possible that the milkies in this bottom nest, who I believe the eggs should have hatched by now, the hen has gave up on them but the cock's still sitting them. That hen got fed up and went and laid in this top nest. But why do they keep going to this top nest? I've never seen this in 40 years of keeping pigeons, ever. Never ever seen it. So in a total, we've had the 2 eggs that's on that nest now, plus the one under the frill stencil, and now another 2 eggs that I found this morning. So come with me and we'll show you what we've done with those 2 eggs. Right guys, so those are the 2 eggs. They've been taken out and they've been put underneath this almond hen and this reduced cock. Now then, you remember I had placed a secondary nest bowl in this side, and I said she'd laid 1 egg on the grill, and we floated that underneath the old boy, and I said I might give her the egg back when she lays the 2nd egg. Now she never did lay a 2nd egg, so either she laid the first one outside in the aviary and it dropped through, or she laid it on the floor down here and it dropped through, because these are 1 inch square. It could have fell right through. Either way, she never laid a 2nd egg. So yesterday, while they were still on pot eggs, I decided what I would do is I would move the nest pan back into there. Now I'd taken the youngsters out and see if they would stay, and they have. And the intention today was to take the egg back off the old boy and give them their egg back. However, now I have 2 mystery eggs and I really want to know what they are and where they're coming from. And I'm praying against all odds they're off the white bar hen. But the only way to find this out is by hopefully getting them hatched. Now they've obviously been laid a few days later than when this hen laid. But pigeons will actually sit longer than they need to. They'll go 3 or 4 days longer before they give up on their eggs, especially if they've already been around. So those 2 eggs, guys, are in with this pair here, and I've chose that pair specifically because the timing is pretty much right for the other eggs. Now those eggs could have been sat on for 2 days as well, so that would make them somewhere near the same timing as when these were laid. And what we'll do now is we'll leave the old boy to rear theirs, so there's no mix-ups. They can rear the mystery eggs, and I'm videoing this as well so I can look back and find out where I put those mystery eggs as well. But if they hatch, and the colours will tell us what's going on in that other shed. But I've never experienced this in 40 years of racing pigeons, guys. So something is really, really strange going on in that shed, and I want to try and get to the bottom of it. So what we did, the barless blue cock is sitting on the eggs there now. We remember I put those pot eggs under them. We've now taken an egg off the indigo bar hen and the white bar cock, who are still sitting on their youngsters, as you can see. Another day or 2 they'll come off. We took 1 egg off those and put them under this pair because the timing of laying was about the same. You can see that the Qualmond is back on his eggs and his hen's laid 2 eggs again. And we took their youngsters away yesterday, but I haven't moved the pan. We're just going to leave them. Now the good pair of Staff Van Reets, as I said, this pigeon has bred many a good pigeon, and I have a number of youngsters off this pair, but she's getting on in her years now, and so is the cock. So far this year, guys, we've had a round of clear eggs. The 2nd eggs were full, One got broke, and that leaves her with one that is now trying to chip, but has been for 2 days, and it's still not out. And I'm not really sure what's going on. But I'm rather excited, because if you look down here, on the floor grill, you'll see what is half an eggshell. Now I know that hasn't hatched, and I know that hasn't hatched. And I know that the only other thing that's due to hatch is off the ice hen. And she seems to be standing up in the nest as opposed to sitting down, which would suggest one has hatched and or the other one is trying to hatch. So I'm super excited, guys, but I'm not going to disturb her because, as I say, she's rather a flighty hen. But I'm hoping and praying those 2 youngsters have hatched. So that's basically what we've done. We've done a bit of a swap around with eggs. So for my own record, I took an egg off the white bar and indigo hen, and we placed it under the barless blue cock and barless brown hen. What sometimes happens is when you get a hen that doesn't lay as well, by the way, guys, if you give them another egg that will hatch normally and get the timing right, and the rear one youngster, it will usually kickstart the hen into laying. So I'm hoping that once the rear one youngster, that hen will then naturally just go down and lay, and then we will get some youngsters off them. Our indigo cock and our double factor indigo opal are back down on eggs again. These are the pair that bred the little recessive red, but they breed double factor indigos and Andalusians, all sorts. I had all sorts of youngsters off those. Golden pair. Up here you'll see the almond hen again. She's back on 2 eggs. She has forced her way in with the 2 youngsters. And you can see here, guys, that is now clearly identified itself. It is an almond. It just looked white for a long time on the nest, and it's going to be another beautiful almond. And then we have a khaki brown still sitting in the nest. You can just see it poking out from the left, sitting next to the almond hen. So that's a quick update in here, guys, and that is the story of a lifetime. I have never ever in 40 years of keeping racing pigeons witnessed what I have this year. See you later, guys. Right, guys, bit of a roundup for today. We're not doing a lot more. Everything's all fine up here. The garden's fine, the volatil's fine, the young birds are fine. That's what's important. Right, this really is a true story, guys. Absolutely no bull. In 40 years of me keeping racing pigeons, I've never known me get a nest with 5 eggs in a period of 5 or 6 days. And something really strange is going on in that loft. Either I've got a super hen that's going to break the world record that's laid 5 eggs, or B, other birds for some strange reason are selecting that top nest as a preferred laying place instead of in their own nests. And for whatever reason, I don't know. Either way, we've got a real mystery on our hands this year, which is sort of intriguing, and I'm really curious, and I'm trying to think of ways how I can try and solve the mystery. And what I'm trying to do is hatch every single egg that comes out of that nest, if I can, if that's at all possible, so I can try and see the variation in colours and try and get to where the parentage may lie and why the birds are doing this. Really strange. Every single pair in there has its own eggs, so this is what makes it even more intriguing, with the exception of the white bar hen. Now, I was under the impression she can't lay, and I'm probably right with that. She does appear to be too old and incapable, but I'd love to think that she is pulling the wool over my eyes and she is actually laying, but not in the nest where she's intended to lay. And if we got some nice black white bars out on the youngsters, that would be the bonus of the year.
Right guys, if you want to know the answer to this mystery, you're going to have to hit that subscribe button. And then hit the little bell icon on the right. And that will alert you every single time I put up a new video. And you can follow me along on this mystery. And hopefully, we will solve it. Or get somewhere close to the truth. And if not, and they don't hatch, well, we're back to the drawing board. Right guys, as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, be practical and keep yourselves out of harm's way. And please follow me along, and we'll see you in the next video. See you later guys.